Welcome, everybody, to the Retail Podcast and to one more episode of our podcast. We are very happy to be here today with somebody that is the founder and the starter of a new concept that I think fits right in, especially with everything that's happening with the new normal. Her name is Joresa. She has been in a little bit of retail, not a lot, and she's going to tell us about it. But she's been a journalist for very important magazines out there. And with no further ado, Joresa, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to chat about this, and I'm excited that this platform exists. So thank you, Carlos.
No, thank you so much for your time and for being with us. So, Joresa, tell us a little bit more about what you feel is missing in the retail industry, right? Before we go into the idea that you have and how it really blossomed, what do you feel is missing, especially right now with everything that's going on? I know a lot of different companies are trying to get very creative, both retailers and also providers to the retailers, but everybody's kind of trying to think outside the envelope. What do you feel like it's missing?
I think it's missing another aspect of customer experience right now and an opportunity for shoppers to be safe in getting their items. We have this big giant Amazon, which has provided so much convenience for people, but unfortunately, it leaves out so many retailers, boutiques, family-owned shops, or just independent business owners. I'm based here in Los Angeles, and if anyone is into fashion, they know that this is a huge fashion city. And so there's a huge target audience that's being left out, who does not wish to be on Amazon, but they need to be able to service their customers. There's also wildly enough, if you
Hmm.
could even think about this, but there are still businesses that have not digitized yet. So, they
Yes,
have this.
surprisingly so.
Surprisingly so. I mean, people, and I understand people wanting to have their customers be able to come into the store and have that feel, touch experience. But the way our world has moved, and because of COVID-19 has moved even faster towards this, is that people don't have the opportunity to be able to do that, either because of time and now because of safety. And
Hmm.
so that's one aspect. And then there's this huge white space around returns of items that become very, very painful for the shopper. It becomes, the logistics around returns for the retailer is just hard. They're getting these items back. They don't know where to place those items sometimes if they can't go back on the store. And I don't know if you are following this, but these last few months where companies like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Ross were closed,
Hmm.
they didn't know where those items could go. There was no place for them to go. So reverse logistics returns is still a huge problem that retailers are trying to figure out.
No, absolutely. Because, of course, to your point, there's e-commerce and everybody knows how that functions and how you can make your purchases and your returns and all that good stuff. But to your point, there's a huge, huge market of the population of customers and also of retailers providing their product that want to have that face-to-face interaction, that brick-and-mortar interaction, and people that want to try this on, because a lot of times I might be a medium in like 7 different brands, but then there's 100 others that if I try on a medium, I'm swimming inside the shirt. So yeah, absolutely. And the problem is when you engage with those brick and mortar uh, retailers, and then they shut down, and who knows if we're going to have to re-shut down. I know there's a lot of conversation about that right now in many different states. What's going to happen at that point, right? How do they engage it? Is it the 30 days typical return policy going to go over the timeline, and then am I stuck with the product? Am I going to get a gift card? I mean, then the it gets very cumbersome, I guess, for lack of a better word. And so with that said, I know that you guys came up with the concept of GoFlyy. And if you can tell us a little bit more about what that concept is, what is really servicing, right? I mean, I know you told me about it. I perceived it like, oh my God, this is the Uber of clothing, but I'll let you expand on it a little bit more and explain it better than myself.
Well, I mean, it's literally, yeah, just what you said, Uber, or if you think of Postmates of clothing and beauty brands. So we do on-demand delivery and returns for those companies. We focus on fashion and beauty. So we literally take items from the brick and mortar stores or from e-commerce sellers if they have a warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and we deliver it to the shopper. And just to expand, what does that look like? That looks like you going online, you picking out the item that you want, you selecting same day delivery and having that item at your door in 2 to 3 hours. Why? Because everyone wants things faster. I mean, that's just
Absolutely,
really,
absolutely.
that's just really where, people are at today. Now, it could be the conversation of, well, clothing really isn't essential right now. Yeah, we're studying that. We're trying to figure out what is shopper behavior, but people are still buying.
Yeah.
People are still buying, whether it's due to boredom, whether it's due to they just want to feel good, which is always, a thing that's connected to fashion and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And with beauty, sometimes it is a need. As a woman, I need to have like moisturizing cream. I need to have certain products because it's already part of my regimen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's becoming very crossing over to the male gender as well, right? Like I see more and more like moisturizers and face creams and taking care of yourself, of your body, of your temple is becoming more of a norm across both genders, you know? And so
yeah.
to your point, yeah, there's a very high demand. And so let me go back a second. I mean, I thought that was super interesting that you mentioned 2 to 3 days you're gonna get your merchandise, right?
Two
Or sorry, two to
hours.
three hours. Yeah, two to
Mhm.
three hours. That's amazing. And so, how does that piece function? Does me as a customer, am I gonna purchase through the retailer's website, or am I gonna log in through your website and pay some sort of subscription service, or how does that function?
So for deliveries, it's free for the shopper. So you would go to whatever your favorite retailer is, the ones that we've partnered with so
Mm-hmm.
far. You would select your item, and then right where it says shipping, you'll see the GoFlyy option and you can select same day. For returns, you can go to our website and you can launch a return. You can also call us if you feel like you want to talk to someone.
Okay.
You put in your information, send us your digital receipt, we'll take it back to the store. Returns are a little tricky right now because of COVID. So
Mm-hmm.
many people are not taking returns, but some people are, like, Target, they are still taking returns. So we just want to meet our shoppers where they are. So if your store is Macy's, we want to meet you there, or wherever that store is, instead of
Nice,
you
nice.
having to
Yeah,
come.
that way it's a lot more convenient for them. They feel
Yeah,
more comfortable because they're used to
right,
shopping there. That makes sense. And
right.
so then, when you guys deliver the merchandise, do you stay there with the customer for them to try it on and see if it looks good and everything, or is just a process of delivery and then reach back out to us and we're more than happy to do the return for you?
Mm. So we don't stay, but that is definitely a thought of maybe that may be a phase later on. We would love to study that. Is that something that customers want? And that would probably be a premium service that they will have to pay for.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
we would love to see if that's an option, because that has definitely been an idea. But we just deliver to them. It can be contactless as well,
Mm-hmm.
but we will confirm that the delivery was made. If it's something that is of higher value, a higher price tag, then we're going to ask for a signature for that,
Okay, okay.
just to make sure that it's delivered and
Yeah,
both the
properly, and that
staff.
it's ultimately in the customer hands. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I like the whole concept of returns because I feel that's even beyond COVID, right? When we go back to normal, which will eventually will, I think it's great because a lot of times I go to work, go to the office, you're at home, and especially in big cities like LA, New York, Seattle, Chicago. I mean, the list goes on and on. traffic is like a nightmare, you know? So you're happy to make the drive to go purchase something because you're bringing something with you. But
Mm,
when it's the process of having to take it back, then it's a lot more, right, painful, I guess I would say, to think about making that drive that could potentially become an hour and a half of your life, just to go return the merchandise, you know? So the fact that you guys are offering returns, that's amazing. And what kind of inspired you to do all of this idea and put it all together?
You know, it started off as something way different. And this was like in 2015, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I remember I was talking to a friend and she was headed to New York and she was, you know, as women do, we're packing our things and trying to figure out what we want to wear. And she was like, I wonder what the weather is like. And I was like, man, I wish there was an app that connected weather and clothing that they would give you suggestions. It started off as that. And then as time went on, it just evolved into this. I was working at an office, I was working at Nordstrom corporate, and I was just thinking like, I just don't understand why I can't purchase something online and have it before I leave the office to get in my car to go through an hour or 15 minutes of traffic home.
Mhm.
And I mean, I became my own customer. And then I had to figure out, is this something that other people want? And so, you know, I went through that whole journey of customer discovery and interviewing and surveying, and not only talking to shoppers, but also retailers. You know, is this something that you want? Especially brick and mortars who are always trying to figure out how to get inventory off the floor.
Mhm.
So that's kind of that was, you know, before COVID, always one of the value propositions we had is that yes, we know e-commerce is booming and you still want to have this brick and mortar. So how can we help you get that inventory off the floor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How can you give it that cross functionality, but still have that timely delivery that makes you competitive with somebody like Amazon, right? Like you first mentioned.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's a big game changer, right? It's all about who can get it there the fastest, right? And
Right.
then that's where people go to shop. No, that's
That's
absolutely right. And I remember you were talking to me earlier when we were having an introductory meeting, about how when you were at Nordstrom's working there, you were actually able to get a mentor there that helped you shape your business, and continuously he's there with you. And if you wouldn't mind, I would love to for you to share that with the audience, because I think it's very inspirational that, uh, thinking of the position that you were utilizing there at Nordstrom's and who you were able to get as your mentor. I really would like to kind of engage in that and talk to everybody about that a little.
Yeah, so at the time, I think, gosh, I don't know. I think this was maybe 2018. I started there. So I was at the time I was writing and I was doing PR and I was also working on my startup. I had been in a few pre-accelerators, and then I wanted to have some more money. So I took a job. I started off as a temp, to be honest with you. I took a job at Nordstrom as the receptionist. Not a sexy job, right?
Mhm.
Uh, you know, so and it was good because it was a steady paycheck while I was doing these other things and building my business. But I started to get really frustrated because, you know, I knew that I wanted to start this business. I knew that I had more to offer than just being at the front desk. I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm working on this huge, you know, idea that's bigger than me. And so I think one day I was just like, what can I get out of this? What can I
Mhm.
get out of this? Because sometimes we can frustrate ourselves when we can't see clearly and we can't see that we're sitting on a gold mine, and I really was, because
Yeah.
everything was there. I could talk to the engineers at any time, I could talk to marketing at any time, I could talk to the buyers at any time. But one day I decided I need a meeting with the president. And so I went to his executive assistant and I asked,
Mhm.
is it possible I could get a meeting with the president? And I was so frightened. And
Yeah,
quickly she
because
was like,
you
yes,
don't know, right? Are you gonna get perceived like, oh, you're wasting somebody's valuable time? Am I gonna get fired over this? Are they gonna look down on me? So many variables that I think happen in your head, right?
absolutely. And it's like, who am I? I'm the receptionist, right?
Yeah.
It's like me asking to speak to the biggest person in the office. And she was like, yeah, I'll see if he has some time. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I went back to my desk and I got an email maybe about 10 minutes later with a calendar invite. And I was like, wow, I had
Wow,
a
that's
meeting
awesome.
with the president. And so I had, you know, my first meeting with him, and I told him, you know, I wanted to go over my pitch with him. And that kind of that did start a relationship with him. And he was so generous with information. And I never felt like I was small. And that's so important. And it's a story that I really want to be able to tell for a long time, that it doesn't matter what position you start in. It doesn't mean that you can't go to the president, to the top person, and ask for help. And after that meeting, I kept meeting with him, and he was the one who really gave me the insight about the return aspect and how, you know, what happens when those items are outside of the store and how much money they lose, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
And even after my departure, I've still kept in contact, and he has been really key in helping me get to where I am. And, you know, yeah, I just inspire anyone to really take a look at their surroundings, because you may have a resource that you're overlooking. And
Yeah.
even in addition to him, I have on board on the GoFlyy board, I have an advisor from there as well. And I've even kept in contact with some of the engineers who help me from time to time. So I was sitting on a gold mine, and I was just so blinded by my frustration. So sometimes you just got to get really clear, you
Yeah,
know.
no,
And
absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's crucial. I think so many people, especially as they're starting their careers and they're trying to figure out, right? Because a lot of times I see people, they graduate, they go on into the workforce, into corporate America, and some people have a very defined plan of what they want to do. Some people don't. But regardless, everybody kind of, the moment you come in, it's like, oh, great, you have a title, you have an MBA, whatever you might have, it really doesn't matter. You kind of start at this level, and everybody starts at the same level, right? And then that whole sense of, like you mentioned, frustration and, oh my God, all these years I've invested in my education and all this stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm not the director and I'm not the vice president like I thought I was going to be, right? All these things. And then you start to like self-doubt and self-consume yourself. And then you start hating your job, you start hating what you're doing, and it subsequently leads into hating your life, and then waiting for Friday, and your life becomes,
right,
Friday afternoon,
right.
Saturday, and then you're already kind of hating Sunday because it's going to become Monday. And to your point, if we can all open our eyes and take a moment to understand that no matter where we end up being, there's a higher reason and a higher purpose for it. And it's all about us being brave and taking the lead in our own life and asking those questions, right? Worst that can happen is, even to your experience, worst that could happen would have said, no, sorry, he's too busy. And then that would have led you into another path and another path, another path. But the whole point is getting up, daring to raise your hand, and daring to try to love your life and everything that you're doing, and embracing everything that you're doing, so that every day feels like Friday afternoon.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
what I love about your story. I thought that was so amazing and so interesting. And I think for everybody out there, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling that way, take a look around, because I guarantee there's some amazing opportunities, as Joresa mentioned, and some amazing doors that you just gotta dare to push on.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have to, you have to be willing to ask big and be
Hmm.
okay with the answer. But I tell you, like, I've had moments in my life. I have an accountability partner, and we'll have phases where we're like, okay, this week we're gonna have a big ask every single day. And when I tell you, there's so much freedom in asking big, because there's just like, what, I don't even think I've had a bad experience asking big, you know?
Hmm.
And a lot of times you think you're asking big, and it's really not a big ask.
Yeah, I
Because for the
know.
president, it was nothing. It was like, oh, you want to, and that was the one thing that I loved about that experience, because I could see his joy in mentoring me. He was
Hmm.
having so much fun and talking. It was a break in his day to day to be able to mentor me. So your ask really might not even be that big, just
Yeah.
it feels big to you.
Exactly. And then you end up developing relationships that are forever, that are life-changing, because that type of mentorship is continuously, right? Because you want to keep growing and that person continues to grow on their own. And so it's kind of a chain effect. And it will eventually lead you into becoming to being a mentor for others, and it's a circle, right? So that's an amazing, amazing thing. Sorry, I kind of deviated off topic a little bit, but I really think it's so important because, right, it talks great that somebody like yourself, that somebody that took the opportunity and that you were able to ask big, as you very well mentioned, and that you're doing something with it, right? That you're starting your business and you're really doing something that I think will cater to customers, not just now in this pandemic, but ongoing into the future, right? Because we're always looking for convenience as customers, right? And so I think GoFlyy is offering a great opportunity to offer that level of convenience for smaller retailers that maybe they cannot be in Amazon, because even though it's easy to get your product in Amazon, it takes work, right? And for small retailers, they already have way too much on their plate running their brick and mortar stores, especially right now that every sale is so drastically important. And then on top of that, to add layers of it is very difficult, right? And so talking about that, how easily is it for any retailer out there, whether it's big or small, to implement with you guys and to be able to offer the service so that you guys can keep a tally of all the orders that are coming in, requesting for that 2 to 3 hour delivery?
Well, so we're very early, but we are taking it client by client. So we're making sure that it's kind of customized, but it is very easy to implement with us. We're not changing anything on their side. If they, let's just say, if they have, it's $50 for free delivery, it stays the same. So they get to choose if they want to run a promo, whatever those things that they're deciding on their side doesn't change. But to implement with us doesn't take a long time, but we are customizing that implementation per client because we're so early. So we want to make sure that we're able to give them all of the features that's going to make it work seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our clients have been on Shopify, so that has made it very, very easy
Mm-hmm.
for us. So that's why I say we're kind of customizing those implementations until we get to a point where we have different ways for different options for them to implement our technology very quickly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Fair enough. Yeah. That's the beauty about things like Shopify. I think it's
Mhm.
helping out so many customers
Yeah.
to go digital. So many
Mhm.
small businesses to go digital, and then it's so easy to be part of their marketplace and to offer different functionalities to all those retailers that are out there in the market. Absolutely.
Right.
And so another thing I wanted to ask you, so what are going to be kind of your target cities as you guys continue to grow?
Our target cities. Oh,
Mhm.
yes. So as we've talked to people, because we're doing a lot of outreach right now, it feels like, of course, I'm based in LA, so we're starting in LA.
Mhm.
I think that Atlanta, New York, Chicago will be the next cities. Um, Atlanta is great because they have the same situation when it comes to traffic,
Mhm.
um, and I think that the customers there are they're fashion forward. It's a big city, so it just Atlanta is a big city, so that just makes sense. So I think that that's going to be our next move, but I just I would be lying if I said I didn't see this being global. So
Yeah.
I
No,
definitely
no,
see
it definitely
things.
has the potential for it. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's awesome. That's great. Well, Joresa, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it. I want to give you a chance to kind of say goodbye to all of our listeners. I don't know if there's anything additional you want to add, leave some inspirational words or something like that for them.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for having me on. Please visit us. We're at goflyy.com. That's GOFLYY.com. If you are a retailer that's trying to reach a new audience, get have give a new customer experience to your shoppers, please contact us. We would love to talk to you. You can reach us through the website. You can also email us at info@goflyy.com. And as far as inspiration, I know that this is a really hard time for a lot of people, not just retailers, but a lot of different business owners. It's even hard for, I think about teachers, I think about, parents, I think about everyone juggling and trying to figure out their new normal. So many good things come in times like this. And so don't feel like because, things are delayed, things feel slow, things feel crazy, it doesn't mean that something beautiful cannot come out of it. And so, I think we all, especially startup founders, we hear about those stories like Airbnb and all those companies that came out of the last recession. We lean on that because we know that something good can come out of this. And I'm gonna bank on that. I'm gonna bank on that.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. You have it, www.goflyy.com. They're offering their services. It's a great concept, and I think it's a great way to reach out to your customers. So check them out. I definitely recommend. And Joresa, once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your stories, and keep going and stay strong. And then we hope to circle back in the near future so we can chit chat and see how things are developing.
I would love that. I would love that. Yes.
If you would like to participate in the Retail Corner conversation, please sign up via email at retailcorner@proxima360.com or sign up on our website at proxima360.com.
So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week. Stay safe and have a great weekend.